Hey, it's Luke, Ryan, and Cody from CHGO Cubs. We have the 2025 Chicago Cubs schedule newly released. We thought we'd just go over a little bit of it, highlight some of the keys in there, and look at some spots that might be a little bit tricky. Obviously, starting in Japan.
Yeah, at the Tokyo Dome.
It's a pretty good way to start a season. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, March 18th and 19th, 2 games against the Dodgers. So, obviously, you have Seiya Suzuki, Shota Imanaga, and Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the Dodgers side. So, like, Japanese stars opening the season earlier, obviously, against the Dodgers in Japan. That'd be a cool one, especially if we get to go.
And, you know, a guy can dream. Maybe Roki Sasaki is part of the Cubs.
Well,
Did I say his name right?
I was going to say, don't dream that he's part of the Dodgers.
No. Just dream that he's part of the Cubs.
Just don't let him defer like 15 years with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Please.
Did I say his name right? I'm pretty sure I said his name right.
Roki, I believe.
Yeah.
His name's at least
Sasaki,
Roki.
I think
it's Sasaki.
Yeah, I didn't realize this comes 25 years after the Cubs did it, April 10th, 2000, against the Mets in Japan. Opened the series.
Wow, it's been that long?
25 years, according to this press release.
I think the cool part is that Ohtani should be pitching by then, right?
Yeah.
So you could have
Shota versus Ohtani.
You could have. Yes, you could, or you could have Shota against Imanaga in game 2.
Shota against Yamamoto.
Yeah, against Yamamoto. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect setup for MLB to do that. The game's gonna be in Tokyo. Like, you want the two Japanese starters going.
And
one of the two. Yeah,
and of course, marquee franchises in baseball, Cubs and Dodgers. Like, even though the Cubs have not been at the Dodgers level for as long as the Dodgers have been there, like, the Cubs are still an international brand. The Dodgers are still an international brand. Great way to open it up with 2 games, with 2 games between the Dodgers and the Cubs. Again, 2 marquee franchises to open the season. I think that's a really cool thing.
And I know me, and I know by the time they go to play this game, I will be so ready for spring training to be over that it'll be nice to just have 2 random games that actually matter before they go back to spring training.
So
it will, as much as I don't like the fact that they do it in spring training, I also look at it as, well, at least I get to watch 2 games that matter.
Yeah. Well,
so 2 days to potentially be really pissed off or really happy. So.
And then good for them that they go back to finish spring training, and then they don't have to go anywhere. They play Arizona to open up. Everyone else's regular season.
Right.
Like, they play 4 games in Arizona to start, and then go up to wherever the Athletics are playing at that point for 3 games.
And I don't remember the Cubs starting. I guess this isn't technically starting, but starting in America against Arizona, except for the last time was when Zambrano gave the umpire, "Hey, you need glasses," and got tossed out. Which was,
I don't remember the last time.
It was an amazing moment. They have a lot of warm weather teams at Wrigley Field in March and April. They pay the Padres, the Rangers, the Dodgers, Arizona.
Yeah, it goes Arizona, Athletics, San Diego, Texas, Dodgers, San Diego, Arizona, Dodgers. It was not till the last weekend of April that they actually play a non-NL or AL West team, which could be an advantage, also could be a disadvantage, depending where they're at.
Yeah, maybe some of those warm weather teams don't want to be playing in that cold weather. Nobody wants to be playing in that cold weather.
I think it seems like April will be a tough month in terms of competitive teams, but May definitely it softens up a little bit. So, obviously we don't know what the Cubs roster will look like in next year at this point, but based off just sitting here predicting right now, it seems like May will be the big month for them to maybe take off a little bit, because it will be tough in April if a lot of those teams outside of maybe the Athletics continue to be who they are.
Yeah.
Well, the last 3 weeks, right? You get multiple series against Cincinnati. You get a home series against the Rockies. You get the Marlins for
twice.
6.
The White Sox.
Right?
White Sox
and you get the
home.
White Sox.
Yeah, I mean, the start isn't like, I feel like the start of it, when you get 1 against Pittsburgh, I still expect Pittsburgh to be on the rise next year. Milwaukee's consistently the best team in the division. You get them the first full series of May, and then San Francisco and New York are teams that right now are wild card contenders, and not exactly sure what they'll be next May, but I feel like they will be around there again. But then so like the first week and a half seems tougher, but then it seems like you'd open it up with Miami, White Sox, even Cincinnati a little bit in there. I think they're still on the rise too. But then the Rockies also the last week of May is a pretty good series to have at home.
More of the crosstown this year too.
Yeah.
3 at home, 3 on the road.
6 games total against the White Sox, which the last handful of years they've played 4 games total. The series at Wrigley the weekend of my birthday. So that will be interesting.
So that's a nice celebration.
hopefully.
Usually walk-off teams.
Perhaps. Against the Sox. Last couple of years it's been that way,
I think
right?
some of the cool away series that we'll see this year or next year, obviously I like Houston at the end of June. They're obviously on a little bit of a down year this year, even though they're still in the contention for an AL wild card, but I don't expect them to go into a rebuild anytime soon. Like, I think they'll be back to contending how they have been since like 2017 or whatever year that was. I expect them to be back there the last weekend of June. They got New York to end the first half, right, going into the All-Star break, New York Yankees, which is what happened 2 years ago. That was Jameson Taillon's like first best start of the season.
Yeah, it is a revenge game.
In 2023. So, yeah, his revenge game. And then you get Toronto in August, which is, just going to Canada, again, another team that I would expect them to be trying to get back into that wild card contention by next season. So that's a cool one to have. And then, you got Angels, you got maybe Mike Trout's still healthy or finally healthy by then. But that's also in August too. So some of the cooler road series.
Boston comes to Wrigley next year.
Right after the All-Star break.
I think for me, as far as like, if you're a fan who wants to go visit all the stadiums, probably for next year, the best one for me is maybe Houston or Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota's another one.
But they went to Target Field 2 years ago. Like, I know my guy Mike Dubs
It's a park I could check off my list.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I've got 4 series outside of Wrigley that I would like us to go to. Japan, number 1. Number 2, Arizona, because it'll be freezing here. Opening out there in Arizona. That's 2, right? Yeah. Toronto, because I'd like to put Toronto on the list. And then, of course, the end of July, you have the weekend series against the White Sox, 25, 26, 27. That could be Garrett Crochet's first game back on the south side facing the White Sox. Yeah. Once that trade is pulled off. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. But if he becomes a Cub at the trade deadline, then that would be, his return to the south side.
You're saying you don't want to go to the Athletics game in
Sacramento?
In Sacramento?
Pass. Hard pass.
I have family
When
there,
is
and
that?
even
When
I
is
don't
that
want
game?
to.
That would be right after the Arizona game to start the season.
Well, the weather wouldn't be too bad. I don't want to go middle of the season when it's like 105 there.
Right.
And they're playing on turf.
Either way, I think Tokyo's your best travel one just because it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. But with how the schedule is now where you're playing, like everyone's playing everyone every year, it's like, well, you can go to Yankee Stadium if you've never been there. You can go there next year. Go to Fenway in 2026 if you didn't go this year. It's the cool thing about the new schedule is you're getting an opportunity every other year to go to a ballpark that you haven't been to.
Yeah, you're not waiting 7 years to go to whatever ballpark you're trying to go to. Like that, I would agree that's as much as like it sucks that it feels like division games have been diminished because you've lost 6 in the last 2 years. It isn't a ton, but it's still that's a third of your division games against each team. So I guess it is kind of a ton. But you are getting the chance to see every team and see them at your home ballpark every other year. I think that's a cool part of it. Yeah.
All right, looking forward to it. 2025. Wait till next year. Next year is here, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you check out our CHGO Ranks podcast that came out and content that comes out. We're ranking the top 10 Cubs games of all time. Look for it on social media and, of course, where you get your podcasts. Until then, fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.